After Effects gets some sweet upgrades, the mill is coming back, and Adobe blows our minds with this year's Adobe Max sneaks. It's Motion Mondays, and it's November, which means no more pumpkin spice lattes.
Welcome to Pumpkin Spice Latte!
We'll hit Adobe Max later, but first let's talk about the newest After Effects beta, version 26, because there's some legitimately useful stuff here. The biggest addition is parametric meshes, 3D primitives like cubes, spheres, cones, and toruses that drop right into your AE scene using the advanced 3D renderer. You can animate them, tweak physically based material properties, or even assign Substance 3D materials with full control. For newer artists who haven't picked up Blender or Cinema 4D yet, this opens up animations that would have been too tedious before. The less sexy, but probably more useful update is native SVG import as shape layers. With more designers working in Figma, which exports SVGs natively, this is huge. There's also way better gradient and transparency support when converting Illustrator layers to shapes. The unmult effect is back natively, hooray, and the potential daily game changer is compressed playback caching, meaning longer RAM previews using way less disk space. After Effects Insider instructor Eran Stern did a killer breakdown on his YouTube channel covering the strengths and weaknesses of all of these features, so check that out, download the beta, and start playing around. 3D plugin company Volinga released Volinga Plugin Pro, letting you integrate Gaussian splats into Unreal Engine with intuitive culling tools to shape your scene. But the coolest part is they figured out how to relight Gaussian splats in real time. Normally, splats bake in the lighting from capture. That's just kind of how they work. Through some technical wizardry, Volinga lets you relight these scenes on the fly inside Unreal. It's early days for this tech, but it opens up high-end VFX workflows that would have been too time-consuming or render-intensive before. Remember, Gaussian splats run in real time on a web browser, so the creative possibilities that this enables are pretty incredible. Check out Volinga Plugin Pro and their walkthrough video, links in the description. Here is a quick School Motion News Roundup. We are accepting submissions for our 2025 holiday card. The theme is New Year, New Blank, and maybe it's new haircut, unless you're me. All you need is 3 seconds of animation, and all the details are on our site. The deadline is December 3rd at 5 p.m. Eastern. Also, last week we dropped After Effects Insider, taught by Eran Stern, over 12 hours of pro tips covering workspace customization, advanced typography, the new 3D system, compositing tricks, and tons of shortcuts. It's part of our All Access program, which is closing in on 2,500 students with over 12,000 projects critiqued just this year. And if you complete a project-based course, you earn a verified credential from us. Also, next week, Haley Akins from Motion Hatch will be joining us for a live monthly workshop for our All Access members in the community. So now is a great time to sign up, and maybe we will see you in class. Halloween came and went, but here's a cool and spooky plugin from our friends at AE Scripts and AE Plugins, Frankenstein. It's an AI-assisted roto tool that automatically recognizes and segments faces. If you need a quick map for talent's skin to retouch or color correct, just drag and drop. It creates masks for eyes, nose, mouth, and even teeth. There's feathering tools, and the demo video shows some cool effects that you can pull off. It's very useful if you do any retouching work, so check it out, link in the description. This next one surprised me. Adweek reported that the mill is returning under new ownership with global expansion plans. Remember, the mill collapsed earlier this year when Technicolor basically went bankrupt. Now it's owned by TransPerfect, a company that translates content into multiple languages. It's not really an obvious fit. It sounds like they want to own a company that makes creative and then leverage TransPerfect's existing tech for distribution and localization. They're reopening studios in London, Paris, Seoul, Bangalore, and planning a US presence. It's an interesting idea. We'll see if they can pull it off. But here's the thing. Artists left in the lurch when the mill shut down are not happy. In the LinkedIn thread for this announcement, there are lots of angry artists who never got paid for completed work. One artist, Mikhail Villegas, confirmed he won't be paid for over $25,000 of freelance work. That does not sit right with me. I would really urge the new ownership to consider rectifying this. This is a small industry, and if top artists think that you might not pay them, hiring top talent gets really hard. So it'd be really nice to see the mill return to form, but they've got their work cut out for them. Beyond Studio invited an old friend of mine, Michaela Vandermost, founder of Newfangled Studios, for a fireside chat. This chat is incredibly valuable if you're wondering what the future of our industry looks like. Newfangled is a social-first, digitally native campaign studio working with brands like Google. They're really good at creating campaigns that scale. Michaela gives advice on thriving as campaigns demand huge volumes of tailored assets across a lot of different platforms. The shift is from crafting single hero pieces to architecting systems and smart templates using creative automation tools like Storytech, Smartly, and Keltra. She's one of the smartest people talking about this stuff, and if you're a young artist, this is a peek into the future with loads of career advice. It's time to feature some amazing work. First up, a sneak peek at Leica's next feature film, Wildwood. It follows a powerful golden eagle that commands the skies using magic, somehow. Aside from looking absolutely gorgeous, the behind-the-scenes stuff is the best part. One part of the industry is going towards total automation, literally typing the shot you want and it just materializes. Leica is going the total opposite direction, putting an excruciating amount of work into every frame, building motion control rigs I've never seen on stop-motion projects, laser cutting and 3D printing elements. The obligatory time-lapse bird animation shots are incredible. There's something about how stop-motion looks that's very hard to mimic, and Leica are the undisputed goats. Next, Taiwanese artist Jungping Lee dropped a showreel on LinkedIn that's just incredible. Reels that blow me away these days show lots of different styles. It's difficult to pull off because it's easy to fall back on the same tricks. When you push into new styles and become a true generalist, your reel tells me I can hire you for any project. Jung's reel demonstrates great design sense, animation chops, tons of technical ability, and he's got a really cool website too with a great mix of client work and self-initiated projects, including one inspired by a School of Motion workshop. Top shelf stuff. Finally, Mumbai-based VFX artist Short Pants dropped a very relatable video on Instagram, then followed up with a cool making of showing just how much work went into this convincing composite. He literally modeled part of the chair he was sitting on to get accurate lighting and reflections. The reason I thought this was cool is because part of your job as an artist these days is making cool stuff that's effective. A term that keeps coming up is stop the scroll. Make work that stops someone from doom scrolling. Artists like Short Pants seem to have an intuition for content that accomplishes this. And there's great compositing, it's a great concept, and it's just awesome. So links to everything we talked about will be in the description. Epic recently hosted a workshop featuring artists at Capacity Studios, known for their amazing broadcast work. Capacity worked with Epic to create a sample soccer broadcast package using Unreal's motion design toolset. What's cool is it looks very 2D, like something you'd build in After Effects. Epic is trying to give artists more AE-like capability inside Unreal so you can leverage real-time performance. And because it's real-time, you can build elaborate rigs and control systems to trigger things live during broadcasts. That's clearly the end game, taking on companies like VizRT and Chiron. The workshop goes deep into the technical weeds, how they built it, created control rigs, what the capabilities are, and even features that they wish Unreal would eventually get for parity with After Effects. There's still a ways to go, but Unreal's developing at a crazy pace. We'll have a course out early next year covering the motion design tools for broadcast graphics, but if you want a head start, check out Unreal for 3D artists on our all-access platform to prep for that course when it drops. After Effects developer Davey Loves Code built an AI agent for After Effects called Adam. In the tech world, AI agents are all the rage. You talk to an AI that then goes off and does tasks for you. It doesn't just give you information. It can apply expressions, set up layers, and even create controls. You can try it for free with 10 AI chats, and then it's $45 one time for now, and there's no way that that price can hold long term. But the big question is, does it work? Mr. Oppity said it's slow and only worked 1 out of 3 times. And honestly, that's kind of what I expected this early in the game. Something like this isn't going to work great yet, but as a proof of concept, it's pretty cool. In a few years, stuff like this, maybe, could help save a lot of time on tedious tasks. It's time for our School Motion Student of the Week, Sina Lennox from Munich. Sina merges music and VFX. How awesome is that? She's a pianist and a composer with her own piano-focused YouTube channel, and this accomplished musician is making her way through Expression Session, one of our toughest courses. The Irish blur exercise asks students to create an After Effects rig controlling a compound blur effect to fake tilt shift, depth of field, or vignetting. Students create all the control layers, tie them together with expressions, pre-comps, and lots of things. It's a very tall order, and frankly, I'm blown away by Sina's rig. She told us School Motion empowered her to create the VFX she's always wanted and helped her gain a deep understanding of After Effects. That warms my heart. Most students are trying to be professional motion designers, but we have lots of other ones that are using motion design as a tool for other things. This is a great example, Sina. I'm really proud of you for tackling this. It's really hard, and I can't wait to see what you do mixing your motion design skills with your musical talent. Thank you so much for being a part of our community. Years ago, legendary studio Animade built Boords to share storyboards with clients before production. Over the years, it's quietly added tons of features to become the best way to share story-driven storyboards. You can upload your own boards, but now there are generative tools built into, plus a character editor, a built-in stock library, and tons of other slick features. Coming from a studio with Animade's pedigree, it's no surprise that it's perfect for storyboarding just about any project. It's like Frame.io for storyboards, so don't sleep on this tool. Adobe Max 2025 was last week, and if you missed it, you can watch all of the keynote replays on Adobe's YouTube channel. As you'd expect, the focus was on AI, but the highlight of day one for me, aside from seeing our friend Dacia Sands on the main stage, was Project Graph. If you're familiar with Comfy UI, that node-based tool for complex image operations using AI, Adobe's building their own version. But the coolest thing is, this isn't just an AI tool. You can have nodes doing Photoshop operations like levels or mosaic. It's combining new AI tools with existing Adobe tools that you already know. Essentially, it's Nuke for Photoshop with AI built in, and it can create videos too. Adobe showed how you can take complex node graphs and turn them into capsules, almost like Mogurt files, exposing only inputs that you want. They show how you can use that to adjust depth of field, lighting, prompts, 3D models. When this drops, artists who learn it quickly will have a big advantage. If you check out nothing else from Max, check out Project Graph. And until December 1st, Adobe is allowing unlimited image generations with Firefly, including with partner models like Nano Banana, and you even get unlimited Firefly video generations. Now, the coolest part, Adobe Max Sneaks, where they show off new tech that hasn't made it into apps yet. This stuff usually takes 12 to 18 months to make its way into the apps. Project Sina creates 3D models from one image that you can reposition and generate imagery with that exact composition. You can even use primitives as placeholders and tag them with what they should be, like bouquet of flowers, and that's what appears in the generated image. Project New Depths is Adobe's first foray into Gaussian splats. Think Photoshop for splats with 3D aware layers. Move a tree around in a scene and it'll be realistically occluded by foliage and other objects. Project Trace Erase is an incredibly smart object removal tool. It understands it needs to remove shadows, reflections, and color cast without changing other pixels. They showed removing a jet ski and automatically removing just that jet ski's wake too. The same tech can remove lens flares in one click. It's absolutely crazy. Frame Forward lets you modify one video frame, then propagates your edit across the entire clip. They showed a car smoking tires on a racetrack with a crazy drone camera move, used Trace Erase to paint out the car in one frame, and Frame Forward automatically removed the smoke too across the entire shot. It's insane for VFX. Light Touch lets you relight images really realistically. The moment that got the most applause was when they moved a light inside a jack-o'-lantern, and you now have an actual jack-o'-lantern that looks lit from the inside. You can control the light's intensity, color, and even how diffuse it is. It brought the house down. Project Turnstile takes 2D images, turns them into 3D models, generating even occluded surfaces. You can use this to composite images together that don't have the correct perspective, then up-res the imagery and use Harmonize to match colors and add shadows. Project Clean Take recreates new audio takes or separates dialogue from background noise and music into stems that you can control. They showed someone being interviewed with music playing in the background.
Whatever you need to get your mind.
They then just replaced the music while keeping all the dialogue and atmospheric sounds intact.
Center of the office, whatever you need.
Finally, and least impressive, Project Motion Map. Feed it artwork, describe how you want it to animate, and it adds motion. You could tell it to blink eyes and rotate text, and that's what it'll do, but you can see it's not very good. All the motion that I saw generated looked like an animator with no idea about animation principles. Technically, movement just doesn't feel very good. Overall, my favorite sneak was Frame Forward. Adobe has some geniuses making stuff over there. Please leave a comment, let me know what your favorite sneak was. And that is it for this massive Roundup episode of Motion Mondays. Don't forget to check out our holiday card community project, submit by December 3rd. Check out our brand new After Effects Insider course taught by Eran Stern, part of our All Access program, and join nearly 2,500 artists from all over the world dedicated to improving their chops and pushing each other to the next level. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week.